much, not really changed much through time, kind of a surviving lineage. So there's three phyla. Remember, phyla and division are the same, right? Plants. Did we do that? I thought we did that. Well, you read about it. I should emphasize that. Whenever, from now on, when you're looking at titles of groups, phylum, because when they did this, plants and animals they did separate. They didn't count it as one thing. So botany, they had division for that phylum level. You haven't, but it's the same thing. Now you'll see division every once in a while. Now they've just made it all phylum. You understand what I'm saying?
No, not really. Can you repeat what you were saying? I'm sorry.
You'll see division is the same as phylum. You'll just see older publications say division.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So also Hepatocophyta is also Mercantiophyta. It's interchangeable.
Mercantia?
Yeah. Okay, so otherwise known as liverworts, hornworts, and mosses. Just wart sounds cool. Does anyone know what wart is? You often see it. It's actually Old English. It goes way, way back. Right? Wart means weed. So phylogenetically, where are we? So here's our green algae ancestor, right? Then all of these, I think we talked about this already, these are all have embryos that are protected, right? Either on the plant itself or, as we'll see later, the seed. A lot of times these are called the embryophytes. Okay? So here are the liverworts. Liverworts do not, we'll go in the details of this, but the liverworts don't have any, they don't have, I know what it is, it's just a brain fart. Stomata. They don't have stomata. All of these, by the way, the mosses, hornworts, and liverworts, they all don't have any vascular system. They don't have our two cats, right? Phloem and xylem. And so on Wednesday we'll look at the vascular plants, all right? But these don't have any vascularization. These have apical growth. Remember that? What does that mean? They grow lengthwise, right?
They grow from a specific point, or?
They'll grow at various degrees, but they'll stop.
Oh, sorry.
None of them have, well, we'll look at that. Also, one thing about these things is, remember the gametophyte and sporophyte I told you about plants? Double multicellular phases in their life. Where, remember, when they're a gametophyte is a multicellular haploid, independently living, and then a sporophyte is a multicellular diploid. You're with me, right? So the liverworts, mosses, and hornworts, the majority of their life are haploid. Right? Majority of their life are haploid, as we'll see. The gametophyte stage. Did I tell you what a gametophyte and a sporophyte are? Have we done that yet? We haven't. Okay, good. We'll do that. So the gametophyte, gamete, right, means haploid, right? Gametes, sperm and egg. Gametophyte, phyte means plant. So they live their life as a haploid, right? Gametophyte. Sporophyte is they are diploid and they make spores. Anyway, we'll look at that in more detail. One thing about, well, we'll look at this more. Let's just move on. So you get the idea where we're going, right? So none of these are, so we've left this algae ancestor. We're now on land as well too, okay? Liverworts, mosses, and hornworts, we're now on land. They are non-vascular, and they spend most of their life as a gametophyte. Yeah?
So, like, I remember you were talking about some of the plants that switch between haploids and diploids.
They all do.
Well, they all do, but my question is, are liverworts and mosses and hornworts, like, do they live their entire, like, plant life as a haploid, or are there versions
Yes,
of,
that's what I...
So there's no versions of them that are diploid?
Yes.
Only when they become sporophyte?
The sporophyte is the diploid version.
Okay.
And as I'll show you, this sporophyte is there for a little bit. Whereas flip-flopped with these guys. When you look at a tree, you're looking at a sporophyte. Okay, when you're looking at pollen, you're looking at a gametophyte. I'm getting forward, but does this help you at all? It's kind of neat, because when all those plants you see out there, those are all sporophytes. They have a gametophyte stage, but it's very small and reduced, and it never leaves the plant. Right? These guys spend all their life as a gametophyte, and they're very small stages of sporophyte. So often when you think of moss, right, you think of wet places. One of the main reasons for this, there's a big reason, is they need water to reproduce. They still have swimming sperm, like an aquatic plant, but they're on land. So they need water at some point. And that's where you think of, the mossy rainforest or the splashing waterfall where you have a lot. And they don't need to be submerged. That's not the same. They need wetness. They need a good rain is enough for their sperm to swim. So this is cool. I was hiking around in this. This is in the desert, the Mojave. You can see the sand dunes over here. And then deep in this crack, I saw moss and I saw liverworts. And it was just thrilling to see something like that in the desert. Right? You never do that. So they need at least some point. So they don't have to always be wet. It's when it's reproductive time is when they need that water. And that's enough. And of course they're in this deep crack. And so they can retain the moisture a lot more. Yeah?
Are we going to go into how they retain the moisture, or did we already do that in previous sections and I just forgot?
They can't retain moisture
Oh,
very well. They'll dry out.
that's why
But-
this one was able to live, because it was in between the cracks.
Well, they can also go senesce. They can go
Okay,
dormant.
alright.
Yeah. In fact, we'll show you there's this, it's kind of interesting. There's this species of moss called resurrection moss. Has anybody ever heard of that?
No.
We'll see it on our field trip. Because what it means is whenever it gets wet, it turns green. And it blossoms like before your eyes. It's kind of cool. We'll have to do that on our field trip. You can have moss in Antarctica. There are some thermal vents up there. It's the only plants. But typically, right, when you're looking at this kind of soft, right, these are the gametophytes. What you're looking at are gametophytes. These are individual gametophytes. So they're haploid if you were to look at their DNA. Then if you've ever seen these things sprouting out of them, so if you'll notice traces goes to the middle of one of these things, these are the sporophytes. These are the 2N. I'm just orienting you here. We'll go into details more. And I have some of these on display. This is the equivalent to a tree. Right? But they're only here for a little bit. They undergo meiosis. It's the whole point, and then the meiosis are the spores. Right? So sexual reproduction, these things erupt out of them. Then meiosis again, boom. Right? All plants have this. Now, seed plants have this and all that, but as we'll see, their gametophytes are no longer free living. Yeah.
They kind of look like fruit, like seeds, or am I wrong?
Well, this is a capsule. It's a cap. So
Okay.
inside of here is where you get all your spores. And those explode, of course, and that's how they disperse. Here's an individual one that I've extracted, right? And so this is the gametophyte. Erupting out of it is the sporophyte. Now you can see how eventually so this sporophyte here is completely dependent upon the gametophyte for its survival. It cannot live independently. It's getting all its nutrition from the gametophyte, which is interesting. As we'll see later on, right, you can kind of see, oh, let's put this in a capsule, cover it, and we have a seed, right? Then it can go off somewhere. All right, like I said, liverworts, mosses, hornworts, they're kind of transitional when you think about it, right? From the green algae and the vascular. They're not vascular, they don't have xylem and phloem. So that means what? They can't get big. They have to stay small because they can't deliver They don't have any channels to deliver all that water and nutrition throughout the plant. So they're only a few cells thick. That's why you see moss is always really small, very, very teeny, because no vascular system. What does this tell you about the group? Here they are. Are they monophyletic?
Yes.
No, they are not. Just because I put a box around them, see? Right? They have ancestors here, they have ancestors right here. Right? They are not monophyletic. Yeah?
Are they paraphyletic?
They would be paraphyletic. Right? So, but they group them together kind of ecologically because you find them in the same places. And they're also kind of have the same ecological life cycle. But they are three separate lineages that survive. Now, just kind of some context. When we look at the genes, these are all related, right? But there was a huge, massive event, or several events, for these things to get on land, right? So all of these then have these genes compared right here to the algae, right? So this is the event where mosses and other bryophytes get these major, major changes going on right there. They have them. New genes is what those green things represent.
So every modern plant is linked to them in some form?
Yes, they all have those genes. These are additional new genes in these lineages, but all the plants have these, and these guys have them. You see what I'm saying? These evolve later, but this is a huge jump from being in water. These genes that evolved.
So just to like reiterate, because I'm kind of dumb, like the new genes, it kind of represents like, that just means that like they stayed at one spot and then everything else via the mutations changed, but they had a common ancestor that was similar at some point.
There's just a massive explosion here of evolution. Obviously, you can't see genes in the fossil record, but this just shows you, right, what had to happen for these things to get on land, right? So all of these things have them. It's just a huge jump, right? What this says, it was rapid. That's how you interpret this.
So like,
this is rapid change.
So you talked
because
about,
we don't have anything else between these two.
So you're talking about the other theory that's in contending with like Darwin's gradual, that's just like the instant like
It
change.
could be punctuated equilibrium, like
Oh,
right
okay.
you were talking about.
All right.
Now, some physiological things that kind of reveal spores germinate, okay, and they have this protonema stage. Well, it looks almost identical like the algae you were looking at under the microscope, right? The chains of green algae. They have this stage, and then they start to bud and get more, look like something what they look like now. See here too that there are female gametophytes and male gametophytes. So when you're looking at that kind of grassy carpet of moss, there are female and male. What determines male and female in biology? Whether their gametes leave or not, right? So these females, their gametes stay home. The males, that's why they need the water, because they have swimming sperm. So they have these regions that produce the gametes, are called the